Hello friends, welcome to Tech Physics. So today we are going to see our lecture on units and measurement, which is our third lecture. So today we will see units and measurement 3. And today we are going to see rules for arithmetic operations with significant figures and rounding off the uncertain digits. But before that, let's see some important parts from last topic. So in last lecture we saw significant digits. So if we have like a number 3.95, okay, so the numbers which are fair, that is which are to be considered, are called as significant digits. Okay, and then in this the rightmost digit is least significant digits and the leftmost digit is most significant digits. So this was significant digits. Now there were some rules which we took to find the number of significant digits, and that were all non-zero digits are significant. Second one was all zeros between non-zero digits are significant no matter where the decimal is if it is present. Third was if the number is less than 1, then all the zeros before first non-zero digit are non-significant. Fourth one is the terminal zeros in a number without decimal point are not significant. And the fifth one is the terminal zeros in a number with a decimal point are significant. If you didn't see our last lecture on units and measurement, that is units and measurement 2, and the lecture on significant figures, so you can watch it from here, and link is also in description, so you can also visit from there. So now let us start with our today's topic, that is rules for arithmetic operations with significant figures. The first rule is for addition and subtraction. So we have to follow same rule for addition and subtraction both. When two or more numbers are added or subtracted, the final result should retain as many decimal places as there in the number with least decimal places. So for example, let us say I have a number 3.96 and then I added 2.1 to it. Okay, I had 3.96 and I added 2.1 to it. So I got my answer as 6.06. Okay, this is a normal addition. Okay, but when we follow the rules of addition and subtraction with significant digits, then our answer will be 6.1. As you can see that the final result should retain as many decimal places as there in the number with least decimal places. So here the original digits were 3.96 and 2.1, and 2.1 has least decimal places, right? So 2.1 has least decimal places, so now 6.1 will have the number of decimal places as that of the 2.1. so there were only one decimal place. Okay, decimal was after one digit only, so here also decimal will be after one digit from the right. Okay, so this happened because of the thing or the rule, or you can say process, called as rounding off, which we'll see in the later part of this video. Rule for multiplication and division. So the second rule that we are going to see today is rule for multiplication and division with significant digits or significant figures. So the rule is when two or more numbers are multiplied or divided, so we are following same rule for multiplication and division both, the final result should retain as many significant figures. Okay, in addition and subtraction there was least decimal places, and here it is significant figures. Okay, so the number with least significant figures from the original number will be the one which decide the number of significant figures in the final result. Okay, so for example, this division, okay, same numbers are there, 3.96 and 2.1, but instead of addition we have done the division here. So 3.96 divided by 2.1, so the answer is 1.885. but as we have seen, the final result should retain as many significant figures as there in the original number with least significant figure. So the number with least significant figure is 2.1 only. Okay, so the result should have the significant figure same as 2.1, that is two significant figures. So therefore our answer is 1.9. okay, so here you can see that 1.8 has become 1.9 and this has become 1.9 because of the process called as rounding off. So we are seeing this process again and again, that is rounding off. What is this rounding off? Okay, the question will come in your mind is, what is rounding off? So let us see what is rounding off. So rounding off, when we get approximate result after the calculation, it contains some insignificant digits. This insignificant digits should be dropped by rounding off. Okay, so as I said that we were counting the significant number of digits. Okay, so there were only some numbers which were fair and which has to be considered. Okay, so which has to be considered are good, but which has not to be considered are the numbers which are insignificant digits, so we have to drop them. Fine. So for dropping them, we go through the process called as rounding off. For example, we have 3.96 and 2.1 and we are doing division as we did in the last case. So you can see the answer will be 1.885, but then it became 1.9. Okay, and this was nothing but because of rounding off. Okay, so these were rounding off. Okay, but the rounding off cannot go the anyway. Okay, there should be some rule. Okay, because 1.8 sometimes becomes 1.9 and in some cases you will see that 1.885. so if I have to do it up to the only 3 significant digits, okay, rounding off should be at 3 significant digits. Okay, then what we will do? So there we will do some process. Okay, and then it will become some other number or maybe remain same. So there will be some rules to do this. Okay, so let us see those rules and go ahead. Rules for rounding off insignificant digits. The first rule is preceding digit is raised by 1 if the last insignificant digit from the right is more than 5. Okay, so for example, let us say I have a number 8.67. okay, and I have to round it off up to the 2 significant digits, so that is up to here only. Okay, so what I should do now? Okay, so here they have written preceding digit is raised by 1 if the last insignificant digit from the right is more than 5. So from the right the last insignificant digit is 7 only, right? And I have to drop the 7. Okay, and the number which has to be rounded off is 6. So now this 6 will become 7. Why? Because this 7 is more than 5, right? As they have said that number should be more than 5, then it will be raised by 1. Which one? Preceding digit, that is the digit which has to be rounded off. So this is 8.7. okay, so it became 8.7 because this 7 was more than 5, right? But what if this number would have been less than 5? Okay, so there is a second rule for that, that is for the number which is less than 5. Okay, if the insignificant digit, that is last insignificant digit from the right, is less than 5. Okay, so then preceding digit remains the same. Okay, let us see an example. 8.63. okay, and now I have to round it off to the 2 significant digits. Okay, so now this should be rounded off up to this place. Okay, and now this is our last insignificant digit from the right. Okay, and this is the number which has to be rounded off or preceding digit. Fine. So now this preceding digit 6 will remain as same as that and will remain as 6. Why? Because this 3 is less than 5, right? So 3 is less than 5, and as we can see that if the number is less than 5, that is the insignificant digit from the right, okay, is less than 5, then the preceding digit remains the same. Okay, so this is the rule number 2. Now let us go to the rule number 3. If the last insignificant digit from the right is exactly 5, then we have to see the digit which has to be rounded off. Okay, so here came a new case. What was the case? If number is not less than or greater than but exactly 5. Okay, so in that case what we will do, that we are going to see in the rule number 3. So if the number that has to be rounded off is even, then it remains the same. Okay, and if the number which has to be rounded off is odd, then it is raised by 1. Okay, so let us see 2 different examples to understand what was these 2 cases. So let us see 2 different examples to know that what are these cases. So for the first case, let us see I have a number 8.35 and then I am rounding it off to 2 significant digits. Okay, so that is up to the here only. Okay, so now after rounding off it will become 8.4. How? Because you can see that the number which has to be rounded off is odd number. Okay, and as it is exactly 5, so we have to follow the two cases, fine. But here this is from the second case, right, because it is odd. Okay, the number which has to be rounded off is odd, so that's why the number which has to be rounded off will increase by 1 and will become 8.4. okay, let us see one more case. So this is 8.25, fine, and now I have to round it off again up to the two significant digits. So now here you can see the number which has to be rounded off is 2. okay, we are already following the cases because the number is exactly 5, right? So now this is the number which has to be rounded off and it is 2, that is even number. So this is from the case 1. okay, so if it will be the even number, then the number which has to be rounded off will remain same and remain unchanged, so this will become 8.2 only. okay, so this is the final thing. okay, and this was the all we are going to learn today. So now let us see the small revision of whatever we have done. So first rule we saw for the arithmetic operations, where when two or more numbers are added or subtracted, the final result should retain as many decimal places as there in the number with the least decimal places. okay, that is from the original numbers. And now the rule for the multiplication was, when two or more numbers are multiplied or divided, the final result should retain as many significant figures, not decimal places, that is here significant figures, as there in the original number with least significant figures. okay, so these were the rule for the arithmetic operations with significant figures. Now let us see the rounding off. okay, so we already have seen that what is the rounding off. okay, so rounding off is nothing but removal of the digits which are insignificant. This is nothing but the process of rounding off. okay, so let us see the rules. So first rule was, preceding digit is raised by 1 if the insignificant digit from the right is more than 5, so we are raising it by 1, and if it is less than 5, then we are keeping it as same, so it remains same and unchanged. okay, and if the last insignificant digit is exactly 5, in that case we will see the number which has to be rounded off. okay, and if it is even, then it remains the same, and if it is odd, then it is raised by 1. okay, so this was all for today, and finally this is an end. And if you like this, please like my video, share my video, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.